Hello world, welcome to the 66th climate change emergency protest here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, USA. Presently, it's March 13th, 2020. And then next week will be at 11 o'clock. That'll be the 67th climate change protest here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Presently, the CO2 level is 414.37. The reason why that's significant, as I said many times in the past, is that humans have only existed between 200 and 280 parts per million. So we have an abundance of greenhouse gases build up and causes feedback loops. But essentially, the CO2 is the crux to everything, and we're way past survivability levels. So we do need mitigation and action concerning climate change. Of course, we're distracted by coronavirus, which I will talk about right now since we're all distracted. There is a justified panic about coronavirus. I've seen projections in the United States anywhere from a few thousand to as many as 70 million to 150 million people are going to get it. Well, at a 3% death rate, that would work out to a horrendous number as far as number of people who will die. It could be anywhere from 2 million to 4.5 million. However, that would be one extreme, and that was put out by CNBC. I'm not making that stuff up. Some estimates say that the world will encounter 20 to 80% of the world will have coronavirus, but that's kind of a wide range there. So who knows what the fact is? We've never gone through this before, other than the 1918 Spanish influenza epidemic, which killed 50 million people, I think it was. So right now, India's on lockdown, self-imposed. They don't want outsiders to infect their country any more than what they are. Ireland has done the same thing. Italy is on lockdown because they have so many coronavirus outbreaks, and it's affecting all of Europe at this point. Justin Trudeau is on self-imposed lockdown. I don't know if he has it or not. Tom Hanks and his wife have coronavirus, and while they're in Australia, which kind of makes me think that Australia is somewhat of an outbreak as well. Schools, colleges, sporting events, amusement parks have been closed. My guess is most of the country, the schools will close for a couple weeks at least till it abates, if it abates at all. Usually with a virus like a flu virus or whatever, things will ease up once the weather gets warmer. But there's no indication that that'll happen right now. So it's a very bad situation as to what's happening. So you have a severe situation. One of the projections was that there are going to be 80,000 people in the United States going to have coronavirus by mid-April. I don't know what they're basing that on, but I'm not a scientist with this stuff, so evidently that's what they're saying. My word of advice is to stock up for 2 weeks in case the United States does lock down. All the grocery stores, restaurants, any place of gathering. And you want to have 2 weeks of supplies, so get on out there if you haven't done it yet. We have. Also, you probably want to get to wherever you want to be when you start getting the inkling that things are going to shut down. Hopefully it'll give you enough warning to get to where you want to be, but there's no indication that they won't just do it immediately. In Italy, they have actual military vehicles rolling through parts of Italy to enforce their lockdown. So, our military is more in abundance to be able to do that if they choose to do that. So now back to climate change, which is the whole reason behind this protest. As bad as coronavirus is, climate change will be absolutely devastating to all life on Earth, the way we're going. There's no abating with this. There's no mitigation. There's no one taking action for the most part. Yeah, some governments are doing little bits, but they're doing the most minimal actions they can, and there's no drastic actions being taken. So, there's no indication that the CO2 levels are going to go down, other than the fact that manufacturing has slowed down somewhat. So it does test out whether the particulates in the air are going to rain down and then cause even more heating in the environment, because the CO2 doesn't go away, but with less pollution in the air, actually the temperatures might go up pretty severely too, like 1 degree Celsius. So we'll see what the effects of that. Obviously, we're having a climate shift going on around the world. Yes, not everyone's having weather like we are. Right now it's 60 degrees here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and which is 15.5 degrees Celsius. That is totally abnormal. As I was saying to my wife back in 1993, we had 35 inches of snow in one snow on this date, or 1993. So, the climate has totally shifted. We haven't had snow basically all year. I mean, just a little bit here and there. Makes you wonder how summer's going to go, even though you can't predict the weather. All indications are that it's going to be a very hot summer, and a very, very hot summer. And maybe that'll wake people up, but probably not. People just say it's really hot, and they won't ask questions as to why it's hot. With the heat comes drought usually, or floods. You can actually have more water vapor in the air, and then you get these torrential downpours, which hurts the food supply. Or you can have drought, flash drought, which would just totally dry out all the crops all at once. The aerosol masking effect, as I said, is definitely an issue, and it's linked in with coronavirus as in with climate change. And this will test out, whether cleaning up the air is actually bad as well. So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you don't have any pollution, you don't have any aerosol masking effect. But if you have too much pollution, then it makes it even worse as far as CO2 levels and all. So we're in a rock and a hard place right now, and you got to get through the wave somehow, and someone needs to be brave enough, as far as a politician goes, and tell the truth as to what's happening. The media won't do it, politicians won't do it, even the most extreme politicians won't step out on that limb and actually tell the truth as to what's happening and what our chances of survival are. So you got people like me that stand on the street corner saying this stuff, and you look like a lunatic, when in reality I'm just stating scientific facts. So if you are in lockdown, this really is an opportunity to learn about climate change instead of being totally wrapped up in coronavirus, which is allowed. But if you want to learn about climate change, go to these following scientists on YouTube. There's Peter Carter, Peter Wadhams, Paul Beckwith, and also Extinction Rebellion. There are a lot of smart people with Extinction Rebellion that have some great ideas, great thoughts, and they're extremely brilliant. So right now we need boots on the ground. We need politicians to take action. And that doesn't mean just, Donald Trump and stuff. We need local politicians to take action as well, and to start greening up things, and to start taking action concerning climate change and coming up with proposals as to what to do. There are many community leaders around every community, and they can come up with great ideas after they get input from other people as to what to do. So, the idea of going it alone as a politician is absolutely ridiculous. A lot of them are insulated. They don't care. They don't want to hear from you. But you got to make yourself heard. And the only way to do that is to form groups and to demand change. They will respond to that if the group is large enough and vehement enough and says what they want to say. So no action has been taken concerning climate change as this coronavirus goes on, and we're dithering away time, and the nails are being hammered into our coffin, and it's going to be impossible to get them out the way they're in. So, the choice is whether to take the red pill or the blue pill, and you need to look up red pill or blue pill as to what I mean by that. There is de facto denialism, which is sticking your head in the sand and not doing anything. And then there's overt denialism, which is just straight out denying it and taking action actually to thwart any changes in climate change. So everyone goes through grief. I went through the process many times, and I keep going back at times as to what's happening. And, you're not alone in this situation. We all have pain concerning climate change and coronavirus and fear and anger and depression about it. You need to talk to friends or get on here and just speak your mind on Facebook. But, you're not alone with this grief process. I've had people lash out at me in different ways, and for no apparent reason. I mean, I'm just posting facts. So, people can say what they want or say I'm full of shit. That's fine. But the facts are the facts, and, getting personal with things is no way to go about doing things. So, or saying how smart they are when, in fact, that people really aren't that smart in general. This is all feeling out process, and we're all this is a new thing to everyone. So we all have to be sort of easy on each other that way. I'm just posting facts, and if you feel the facts aren't correct, that's your problem. You can take it up with whoever wrote the articles that I'm posting. That's fine. That's your right. But ignoring climate change is no way to go through this whole situation. Hold on, I got a truck. So ignoring climate change is your choice, but the problem is there's no peeing under the pool. So you're ignoring climate change is actually dragging me down, or my family, or the state, or the country, or whatever. You know, that's not the way to go about it. You have a responsibility to your children and 7 generations from now. If you don't have any children, it doesn't matter. You still have a responsibility to 7 generations from now to take action and to start doing things. You know, you got to get outside yourself. This is no longer the me time. This is the time to think about others and actually doing things. If you feel you can do better on Facebook and do things differently than I'm doing, do that as well. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to change what I'm doing, and y'all need to get out and do your part as well. So, you know, on Sunday, this Sunday the 15th, there's the presidential debate on the Democratic side. So it's Sanders against Biden, which will be quite revealing, hopefully, as to the difference between the two and the thought process and what's going on cognitively speaking. You know, you really need to decide as to whether you want this person to lead you if they win as president in the fall election. You know, whether they're capable of leading you and have enough forethought and forward thinking as to how to tackle climate change, because that's what it's going to come down to, is climate change. Yeah, everyone's going to get sick from coronavirus. Maybe millions will die, but with climate change, billions are going to die. Billions with a B, okay? This coronavirus will be like a joke compared to that. So I really suggest everyone listen in on the debate on Sunday and get to it and really make some well-informed decisions and quit worrying about who you think will win or who can beat out Donald Trump, and instead start thinking about who's the best choice, you know, in any election, whether it's Trump, Biden, or Sanders, or someone else. So I'll see you next week. That'll be on March 20th. I'll be number 67 in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania at 11 a.m. See you later.